Assalamu alaikum. This is Talk to Farina Najam from Division of Arts and Social Sciences, University of Education, Lower Mall Campus, Lahore. The course title is Advanced Drawing and the course code is 53119. Today our topic is about foreshortening. First of all, what is foreshortening? Foreshortening is a technique used in perspective to create the illusion of an object receding strongly into the distance or background. The illusion is created by the object appearing shorter than it is in reality, making it seem compressed. It is an excellent way to maximize the depth and dimension of paintings and drawing. Foreshortening applies to everything that is drawn in perspective. This includes buildings, landscapes, still life objects, and figures. So, foreshortening in art refers to the way we perceive an object as it recedes in space. It is perhaps best explained visually. Take a moment to do the following. Place your arm in front of your body. Bend at the elbows so that your forearm aligns with your chest. Observe the length of your arm from elbow to fingertips. This is an example of limited foreshortening. Now, extend your arm straight out in front. Notice how, from this perspective, your arm appears compressed. The perceived distance from the bottom of your elbow to your top finger does not reflect the actual length of your arm. This is an example of extreme foreshortening. The photos are example of what you should see modeled by yours truly on the left, limited foreshortening on the right, extreme foreshortening. You will be dealing with some extent of foreshortening whenever you paint a three-dimensional object in space. In that sense, it is a rather general term, but it is typically only used to describe more extreme cases such as a painting. You can see the effects of foreshortening, including overlapping and compressed shapes. You can see the shapes without any perspective. It is two-dimensional or flat. In the middle is a shape at a slight angle with slight foreshortening. At the bottom is rendered version of the shape with extreme foreshortening. Remember, the third individual drawing depicts the same shape from different perspectives. Effects of foreshortening. Here are the main effects of foreshortening. Objects appear to get smaller as they recede into the distance. Objects appear to be shorter or more compressed than they actually are. objects at the front will overlap objects behind. The extent of these effects will vary based on the extent of the foreshortening. In this example, you can notice how the shapes get smaller as they recede into the distance. If the shapes continued, it would eventually converge at a single point on the horizontal line. The shape appears shorter than it actually is. This section at the front overlaps the section at the back. Foreshortening tips. Here are some tips for rendering a foreshortened object. Where is the object in space? Understanding the object position in space relative to your own position is essential for accurate foreshortening. Ask yourself, is the object coming back at me, away from me, up, down? Use perspective lines, lines that extend from a single point on the horizon line. You can use these lines to determine the relative size of objects as they recede into the distance. You can see the rough perspective lines. Look for basic overlapping shapes. Foreshortening is easier to comprehend if you break the object down into basic shapes. Draw through the object. Imagine the object is transparent. Allow your pencil to draw through the object, following the contours over, under and around. This will help you better understand the form of the object and how it is positioned in space. Edges and contour. What are the important edges and contours? Some edges are more important than others. It can be effective to narrow down on those important edges and accentuate them. Continuity. Foreshortening typically comes with many overlapping shapes and therefore many broken edges. This can interpret the sense of continuity throughout the object as a whole. You can see what I mean. To add a sense of continuity throughout the arm, you could pick up some of the long sweeping lines that follow the gesture of the arm. These lines help connect the dots, so to speak. Another examples of foreshortening trying. Another one. Another example of foreshortening. You can see beautiful example of foreshortening drawing. trying in foreshortening. Thanks.